Hello, everybody. Welcome to our panel on Indigenous Comics. Maybe we'll start off by going down the line and doing an intro, and I think that'll be fitting because we'll finish, Mike, with you, and then you can go straight into talking about your land acknowledgement comic. Sure. Okay, so I'll start. My name is Stephanie Guest. I'm Red River Métis. I believe family name McNabb. Rhael.
Tanishi, Rhael Dishinikashon. Hi everyone, my name is Rhael. I am also Red River Métis. My family coming from Saint-François-Xavier and Saint-Rose-du-Lac. And yeah, I'm a comic artist. I work in publications and self-publications, and yeah.
My name is Alice R.L. I am Ojibwe First Nation, Waterhen First Nation. I primarily do either illustrations for comics, graphic novels, or I'll say children's books. That's what I've been working on recently.
I'm Mike Zastre. I go by Iron Buddha as my art name. And I do black and white horror sci-fi type comics. And this year the Prairie Comics Festival asked me to do a land acknowledgement comic. And that was an interesting challenge. I got some examples from the Vancouver Comics Festival. And their land acknowledgements are very confrontational because it's not ceded land as opposed to treaty land. They're very clear about this is our land, we never gave it up. And so I loved the spirit of that. I myself am not a very confrontational person, so I tried to make it about what I thought was important about land acknowledgements. And to me, that's stewardship. I always grew up camping lots when I was a kid. Not exactly immersed in Métis culture, but that's something I'm learning about more as I grow up, or as I grow older, I guess. Since I had kids, I guess it really became a lot more important to figure out those roots. And so yeah, I tried to bring that to the land acknowledgement, and I hope everyone likes it.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, the land acknowledgement comic is incredible. If you haven't seen it, it is at the front of our exhibitor hall, right where the Prairie Comics table is, so do make sure you check that out. And I believe, Mike, do you have prints available at your table as well?
I do. I have some prints available in the much smaller size than what Sam printed out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And amongst other things.
Yes, all of the artists here are very talented. Maybe leading into that, you were talking a little bit about your journey and Métis culture and really embracing that and learning what that's all about. I know that all of us here are at various stages in that. Do we want to talk a little bit about what it feels like to embrace that culture, especially in Manitoba, and learning about that and accepting that, and then maybe the imposter syndrome a little bit that might go along with that. I don't know, not to put you on the spot, Rhael, but do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah. For me, I've had a very confusing history with my heritage. It was very hidden in my family. My grandmother spoke Michif, but when she moved to the city, had to stop speaking, and basically told her kids to never learn it because it was a dirty language. And so it was very erased to the point where my mom didn't even know she was Métis until she had me, and then she got her scripts done. And even my mom didn't really know how to handle being Métis, so she didn't really even talk to me about it for years. And so I just spent a lot of my like youth like kind of knowing we were Métis, but like there's like I did a comic where I remember this thing that happened years ago, like when I was a kid, where we were I was talking to another student at my school, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, like I'm so excited, like I'm wearing my sash, I'm Métis, and they're like, oh, you're not Métis, like you're white, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right, I am white, like I can't be Métis. But like so many people have so many different experiences. Like I've met so many like Black Métis people who are told that they're not white enough. Like Métis doesn't have like a look. Like indigeneity doesn't necessarily like have a specific look. Anybody can be Indigenous. But it took me a long time to kind of realize that, and especially because like I think I was at a stage in my career when I was like not only reconnecting to my culture, and I was also reconnecting alone, which is a whole struggle within itself because no one else in my family was ready to reconnect. And then I was also having a budding comic career at the same time. So it was a lot of imposter syndrome for many, many years. And I would like cycle between feeling proud and then feeling like a complete like what am I doing here? Like, why am I taking up space? Like, there's so many people who are way more qualified that have like so many like reasons to be in this position, like more than I do. And like, I still believe some of those things today. And I don't necessarily think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think especially as someone who is white and Indigenous, like it's important that there's way more representation of Black and brown Indigenous people. I don't think that a lot of like white Indigenous people should take a lot of the prominent roles, because like our experience is especially shaped by the fact that we are white. So, you know, it's like it's been an ever changing understanding over my years working in comics, especially in Indigenous comics. And I would say that not like only until maybe this year, and I started in comics when I was like early 20s, and I'm gonna be I think 28 this year or 29, I can't remember. But like I would say like this year is probably the year that I've actually finally felt like comfortable like telling stories and feeling confident to tell like especially Indigenous stories myself, like my own works. But I've always been really happy to work especially with Indigenous authors and try and help them with their own stories being told. So kind of a bit of a like a long mixed history, but that's my own experience working as an Indigenous comics creator.
That's awesome. Thanks. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Rhael. I echo a lot of that, especially also being white and Métis, same thing, especially if I have beadwork out for sale, I will get asked, are these Indigenous made? And then I say, I made them, I'm Métis, and you know, a lot of their attitude does shift pretty quickly, very to the positive, I should say. You know, oh, okay, that's great, like on all that. So that's good. But I've definitely as well struggled with the imposter syndrome of it all. I have to credit my sister, who's done a lot of work in our family, researching the family history of Red River Métis, because similarly, it was a thing that we didn't even really know was in our heritage until very recently. Alice, how about you?
So me and my brother were the only brown kids in daycare. That's one of my first memories is that we were not allowed to be the Dalmatians because 101 Dalmatians was out at the time. We had to be the gorillas, which I don't like. I'm not gonna say I don't understand like gorillas. Like there's no gorillas in 101 Dalmatians, so don't know where they got that. But that's something that stuck with me. Like, you know, I was like, what, 4 or 3 or something. Me and my brother were also the only brown kids in my elementary school up until a certain point. And that was something that I didn't really think about up until, say, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And that, you know, the fact that I was bullied, I was bullied because I was weird, because I was fat, not because I was brown. But, you know, coming to more, I was like, oh, my school didn't have any brown people. except for me and my brother. Up until a certain point, and we were, like I was bullied for most of my elementary school because, and it was hard to come to terms with it because I was brown. At a certain point in my life, I also sort of, I'll say, rejected my indigenousness because it was safer to not be Indigenous or to be Canadian versus Indigenous. And that's just sort of something that I have had to deal with and have had to understand that, like, I am someone who belongs. And even just as in colorism, like, even in comic books, I have had to change colors of skin. Or actually, I personally didn't. They told me that they were going to lighten the skin color of the Indigenous characters in my book, which I based off of my dad's skin color. And that, it hurt me quite a bit. And even then, like even since then, and that was, I'll say, like maybe 5 years ago, even since then, I personally do have a hard time trusting, I'll say, even other white Indigenous people. And it is because of a lot of, I have, like Rhael says, I have seen things pass me by because I am not the right kind of Indigenous, you know. And that is something that obviously is very hard for me to deal with because, you know, like I think I'm pretty cool. I think I do, you know, my brain big. But, you know, it's once again, everybody's on their own healing journey, etc. And it just is like I'm at my own place where this is what I know and this is how I'm able to, I guess, discuss this. And with that, like I say, there's a lot of, I don't want to say anger, but there's a lot of animosity just inside that, you know, I will either depict through art or comics. I usually won't, I'll say, describe it or speak about it. Mostly because I just feel that like that anger is not useful. Or, yeah, I don't think it's useful for me in that point. And like being Indigenous is something that I've always, like, I have had to like claw to get back. And it, you know, like I will say, my dad has helped me out quite a bit. Like, you know, we went sage picking 2 weeks ago. We found a nice little spot that's off, you know, off the beaten path. And it's just being able to do stuff like that, you know, I'm allowed to do it and not feel weird about it. And in my comics, like specifically one I want to work on, or I'm starting to work on, is about the Ojibwe ponies, which I think in the 70s, there was only 3 of them left. And they started a breeding program to bring back these Indigenous horses because horses had been here, like not since the Spanish show up, before that. So just sort of like the fact that, you know, something that was taken away or was sort of hidden can come back, can be restored, renewed kind of thing. So that's sort of my, I guess, my journey.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, and thank you for being so vulnerable and giving so much of your experience. As you know, it can be difficult, so thank you for sharing that. Mike, I know you already touched on it a little. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in terms of experience and identity?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the imposter syndrome is real. Even being asked to participate in the panel, I thought, oh, there's got to be people who are more experienced than I am who can speak about this stuff better. When I was a kid, I mean, Turok. I don't know if there's any Turok fans out there, but I don't think there were any actual Indigenous creators on the book until maybe way later. Yeah. But even now, I don't. There's not a lot out there to experience, and I don't know. Storm was my favorite character as a child because that was the only brown character I saw on TV. Like I was Storm for Halloween when I was in grade 1 because that was a character I saw myself in. Mm-hmm. And exactly. Like it was another one was 1990s Disney, the Jungle Book. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was like, that guy looks like my dad. He wasn't, he's not Indigenous. I believe he's not even, like, he's not Indian, the guy who plays it. But like having that visual, right, is important. Just even though it's not, they weren't Indigenous,
it's still important to be able to see it. So yeah, no, exactly. Turok, yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the representation is just so important, even within Indigenous and outside of Indigenous, right?
Yeah.
It's so important in that media that shapes you as a child to be able to see yourself in those characters, both in, what their heritage is and even just how they look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Mike?
What was I going to say? After I did a bunch of research for the land acknowledgement, I talked to the MMF, and I mean, it's a big bureaucracy, so it took a long time for me to finally get a meeting. But eventually I did, and it was really helpful. Like, I got to ask a lot of questions that I don't know, I've been thinking about, even in terms of like colonialism and settlers. Like, can the Métis people be looked at as settlers? Like, is there, when I write my comic and I put land back in the title, what does that mean for the Métis people? Like, does that mean, did we take land from Indigenous tribes? Like, how did that all happen? So I talked to them a bit about it, and they gave me a lot more reading. And yeah, I don't know, it was really helpful. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like, I remember, like, when I was doing a lot of research, like, I remember, like, realizing that Métis people wouldn't have existed without colonialism, which is a whole, like, thing in itself, where it's like, okay, like, not only did colonialism, like, affect my nation, but also, like, it's the reason I'm here. It's like it's a very complicated, like, role, and I think also because, like, a lot of people in the, like, specifically, like, Métis, a lot of people assimilated, a lot of people, like, tried to fit in. A lot of people can be very racist, even if you are Métis. Like, I've witnessed like a lot of, like, people saying stuff within the community, and it's like, it's really disappointing, because it's like you're just continuing like these systems of oppression that are set up by, like, colonialism, and you don't even realize, because, like, it just, like, it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
I think the community has a long way to go, and I think there are a lot of people that are fighting for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Was there anything else on the topic of identity or any of that we wanted to touch on before we maybe take a bit of a pivot? Okay. So maybe talking more deeply about comics and creation of comics. We had chatted a little bit before this about where there's certainly a lot of trauma. There's certainly a lot of trauma. Nobody's denying that, absolutely. But I think there's a lot of joy, Rhael, as you said to me earlier today, in being Métis and being Indigenous, and so much beautiful and interesting culture. And maybe let's talk a little bit about weaving that joy into our work. Alice, maybe I'll start with you on this one.
Sure. Like, I love being Indigenous, and so I do portray that in my work. I show the colors of the skin that I see. I show the animals that I see, the creatures that I see, the nature that I see, and that is, like, I love being able, like, I don't want to toot my horn, but I'm pretty good at drawing humans and animals and backgrounds. Not cars, though. But not cars. But and I really enjoy being able to depict those things. Like, I've always been a horse kid, so I'm pretty excited about being able to potentially draw horses for a comic, just because that's, I like drawing horses, and I think being Indigenous has, like, it has brought me to a lot of joy, like a lot of things where I'm very proud of where I have come, and, like, things that I would not be here, if for other things. So like I would say, for me, a lot of my Indigenous is like, I'm very proud about it, because I'm also someone who, against all odds, is still here, and is someone who, like, I do work with like 8 to 18-year-olds with art, and I like to be someone that they can see in themselves, because I never had the person that I am visually for other people to see. And that's really important for me to be that for them.
That's awesome. We're glad you're here too. Thank you. Rhael, did you want to talk maybe a little bit about your work and the joy that you weave into it?
Yeah, I think growing up, like, stories were an escape for me. You know, not to talk about trauma, but, you know, like, I would go to the public library and I would read shoujo, and that was my escape. And I remember when I started writing my own comics, it was always like, I wanted something that was very joyful to be able to escape to, and that became kind of like a lot of the focus of a lot of my works. I have in recent years delved a little bit into autobio, which it can be really difficult to talk about. But I think I remember like when I started like my comics journey, I remember being told that my art style didn't suit Indigenous comics because it was too cartoony and cute. And you know, I think there's like, we have to have stories with like cartoony, cute, vibrant like styles, and stories like kids need to be able to see themselves in the stories that they're reading, and it's not just about generational trauma or, you know, difficult topics. I had the opportunity to do a kid's book recently about a little girl learning to make her first pair of moccasins, and that's coming out in October. You know, but like, I find that like, even when I'm like trying to talk about difficult topics, I find that like when I try to add in some sort of like it's not just about the specific things that have happened in the past, but maybe I'm talking about something but through a story that's not necessarily about that specific thing. Like, I have like a story that I've been thinking about like, I spent a lot of time disconnected from community in Toronto, and like, even though there was an Indigenous like program at the school I was at, because I was always at animation school, which is extremely like heavy course load. I can never join any activities. I felt like really isolated, especially from like Indigenous community at school. And so I have this like story idea about like a rugaru, which is like a Métis werewolf story that lives in the subway system in Toronto. And this girl who's riding the subway finds a connection and community with the rugaru. And the rugaru story is interesting because it usually is a cautionary story for kids to not go too far away from home. So it kind of ties into the topic, but it's like it's taking something that's like maybe a more serious thing, but hopefully finding like joy and connection and community from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But, yeah.
I think that, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for that. I mean, if you look at what Disney has done in terms of, they've turned feelings about a large conglomerate, but I'm going somewhere with this. That these sort of grim fairy tales were turned into these whimsical, joyous stories that a lot of us think about when we think back on our childhood. And I don't see any reason why that shouldn't be possible for Indigenous people or any heritage. Really, it should be. I think it's really important to find joy there and to be able to have new twists and lighten some of these stories, and you know, that can be a gateway to a bit more of a serious topic. Absolutely. Mike, how about you?
Absolutely. Again, I'll go back to my land acknowledgement comic. When I first had the idea, I thought, oh yeah, I'll do something serious, and because most of my comics are horror, sci-fi type stuff, I'll, you know, have some guys looking out over a ruined landscape, you know, just what did we do? Where it all went wrong, and it just came off as like a bad Star Trek episode. So then, yeah, I was like, okay, well then I can't make it all doom and gloom. Let's make it something about what's good. And yeah, again, stewardship. And like what you were saying, I mostly draw space backgrounds and weird stuff. So actually looking at some drawings from like Shoal Lake and the petroforms and stuff, and trying to find a way to interpret that, like that was a game changer. Like I really, really enjoyed drawing actual backgrounds, things that exist, yeah.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it makes so much sense. And just me knowing you as, you know, as a person and as an artist, you're a very positive person. Every time I've seen you, you've got a smile and, you know, a happy anecdote. And I think you definitely did a great job of weaving that personality into your comic. And yeah, it's wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it.
Thank you.
We do have a little bit of time. We've got about 20 minutes left. I want to leave some time for questions, but is there anything else that we want to touch on here that I didn't ask about or that you wanted to talk about before we go into some audience questions?
Okay, recommendations or something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
So, of course, after I finished my land acknowledgement, I'm listening to David Robertson's 52 Things to Decolonialize Yourself or something.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the 52 things is make a land acknowledgement. And so I'm listening to it, and it's exactly the steps that I went through. Just copy something else, then find out more about it, then add your own words into it. And I'm listening to it the whole time, and I'm thinking, oh man, like I should have read this a long time ago. But if anyone hasn't, fantastic book.
That's great, thank you. And see, it must feel so validating to see, oh, this is the step I went through.
Yeah. It was like he had watched me do my thing and written about it in the past, so.
That's
That's
awesome.
great, yeah.
Awesome. Alice, any recommendations?
Under the Trees Where Nobody Sees, I think it's called. It is a watercolor, I guess furry, anthropomorphic, but it's about a serial killer. It's beautiful. That's the one that I have recently read that I would recommend. But of course, yeah.
Go for it, Rhael.
I'm so bad at being put on the spot to say a thing. I don't know. There's so many amazing like Indigenous.
You can also recommend your own.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, we also have wonderful artists and creators and authors here. Oh my God. Oh no.
Oh no, it's okay. It's all good. Well, I will say that I did read your shoujo. Everything I learned about life, I learned from shoujo, or everything I learned about love, I learned from shoujo manga. I think it was, and I told you this at Icon, but it is wonderful and not specifically Indigenous, but I mean, as we talked, obviously Métis. So that was really wonderful, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, any questions from the audience? Or are there any questions we on here have for each other?
Have you seen Alien Earth?
Yes,
Yeah.
4 episodes in, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I like it.
Everything about it is good.
Yeah. Recommend Alien Earth.
Fantastic.
Oh, I have a question
Yes.
for everyone.
okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Oh, no.
That's right. Anyways, I was wondering, any recommendations of comics that are either written in PCF or in other not other Indigenous languages?
Great question. So the question, just for the benefit of the recording and the live stream, any recommendations of comics that are written in Michif or in any other Indigenous language?
I know that I believe the Louis Rhael Institute did some works with my friend Milo, and those are translated into Michif. I'm so sorry, Milo. I'm forgetting your last name right now. But definitely look them up. I saw them the other day and they look really, really sweet. And I think they even have an elder that's like saying them as well. So you can also hear the pronunciation as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything
No.
off the top of my head.
That's okay.
What was it's not a comic, but I think Prey came out, and it's a Predator. Is it Predator film?
Oh,
Like-
you're talking about, well, Prey came out a while ago.
Oh, okay. I'm so late. I'm so late to it, but I just recently watched the version that was recorded in the original Indigenous language. So that was also really amazing and great. There's so many amazing projects that are coming out like all the time. It's just so hard to name at the
No,
moment.
that's okay. I think, yeah, and there has been a lot more embracing just Indigenous culture, I think, recently. So I think there's been a lot of really great work that's coming out. And again, I'll just plug all of our amazing artists who are upstairs in Alloway Hall. There is a lot of great work up there, and publishers have a lot of fantastic work from many Indigenous artists who may not be physically here, but their work's here through their publishers. So definitely check that out if you haven't already.
High Water Press,
Oh
right?
yes, of
High
course,
Water.
High Water Press. Yes. Yeah, I believe they focus almost entirely on Indigenous Métis work. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that if you're looking specifically for Michif, Gabriel Dumont Institute, as well as the Rhael Institute, are all pretty good. I know that also there's a kind of popular influencer right now, Samson La Montagne, I think. Don't remember the exact but he does a lot of Michif word of the day, and I love tuning in. So that's definitely a great resource too, and I think he does classes all the time for free, and it's available online too. So it's a great resource for Michif, and he teaches southern and northern Michif, so there's different dialects available as well.
Awesome. Mike, I think you'd mentioned you had a question, or maybe you didn't, or was that you? Sorry.
I was gonna ask everyone here what you want to see more in the future from Indigenous comics.
Go for it.
I want to see more. I'm gonna say just more in general. I think more fantasy, more sort of mythological, even sci-fi. I think that would be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, which reminds me, another favorite character of mine as a child was Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager, and he was
absolutely.
he was the Indigenous character on the show, and I was like, oh, it's me.
And cool as hell.
Yeah.
What was I? Now all I can think about is Chakotay.
Tattoo.
Oh yeah, horror. More Indigenous horror for sure.
Yeah.
Blood Quantum,
Yeah,
fantastic
that was
movie
great.
from a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
There's another one with the polar bear.
No, I don't think I know that one.
I'll have to ask my parents who watched it. But yeah, I agree. I love horror, so I would love to see, and especially and in a way that I'm gonna say is not is kind, because I know there are things in I'll say there's a video game called Until Dawn, right? And the thing with Until Dawn, it has a very specific Indigenous creature. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get cursed. But there's no Indigenous people in that game. It's fine. It's whatever. But it's very much why have an Indigenous creature monster and not even have one guy? He could die. He could just be I tell you what the thing is, and then you kill him off. At least he's there, kind of thing. But yeah, that's something that I think about. That's that creature. I'll just say, if you're wondering, it starts with W. That creature is probably the most used out of Indigenous mythological creatures, and I think I've never seen it used in a way that is proper kind of thing. It's not. I don't think it's ever been used in a way that it's not just emaciated deer skull thing kind of thing. So I think we can do cooler stuff now, kind of thing. I think we're we're beyond that, right? Maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see more comedy coming from within in a way that Kim's Convenience pulled that off very well with the immigrants. I think I liked it.
There's
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
another, there's
Res
another
Dogs.
show.
Reservation Dogs.
Reservation
Reservation
Dogs.
Dogs on
Yeah, okay.
Disney
There
Plus.
was another
the-
one, the one that's
the-
filmed up north.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that
Oh,
one
is
too.
it
Sonia.
the north of?
No, that's a different one.
That's different.
There's another one, and I forget. It's like good something. I forget. I'm so bad with
That's
names.
okay.
But that one's Indigenous, very funny, very cute.
Mhm.
And I think it's filmed up north.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay, I'd love to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just love to see more of
Because
that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Reservation Dogs does have quite a
Okay.
bit of good
Yeah,
humor
yeah,
as well.
I'll
It's
check
good.
that out
Yeah.
for sure. Rhael, to point your own question back at you. What would you like to see more of?
I always want to see more queer romance,
Yes.
queer Indigenous romance especially, yeah, just, I don't know, in general, especially I'm a huge lover of fantasy and sci-fi, so I would especially love I think Indigenous takes and reimaginings of different stories with what we saw in the movie Prey, for example. It's so good, and it's Indigenous sci-fi is so cool. And, oh my gosh, I just I've read so many anthologies and I just
No,
words are escaping me.
No,
I've
that's great.
had
when
2
you
hours of sleep.
when you talk about romance stuff, I think the whole concept from Indigenous people about two-spirit is amazing, and I think that there's so much room to explore that, especially in romance and then stuff like sci-fi as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. That
Yeah.
would be very cool to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, especially because, Two-Spirit, it's, a reclamation of a term in order to separate ourselves from, colonial, ideas of, terminology, but binary and, relationships as well, because I think Indigenous relationships are also a little different. And it's really nice to be able to represent that in comics and works. I know that it's been different for me, having an Indigenous partner especially, and it's really nice to be able to share culture and connection with a partner.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Amazing. I think we've got time for maybe one more question from the audience. Okay. Do we have any other questions from within?
No, I don't think so. Storytelling. I just
Yeah.
think storytelling and Indigenousness and comics go together really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think it is a match made in heaven for sure. It's very good. Perfect. Was there any other final thoughts?
Everyone have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice out, actually. Not too hot, not too cold. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for attending our panel, and we will see you out there on the floor.
Yeah, thank
And thank you to the participants as well, of course. Thanks. All right.